right, everybody, you saw the title. Now let's get right into making these oxtails with rice and peas. So here we have 2 pounds of oxtails, and the very first thing we want to do is trim them up. So some of the smaller pieces, obviously the first thing you want to do actually is wash your hands, but as you can see, this doesn't really have a lot of fat. But then you have some of the larger pieces that really have a lot of fat. So here's one that has a significant amount of fat here. So what we're going to do is trim this off. There was another one that I already went ahead and trimmed up as much as possible. So I'm just going to show you how I actually trim them up. So you're going to just make sure you got a nice sharp knife, and you want to get in here. Some people use a paring knife, but to me it's a little bit too small. So I'm just going to go ahead and just start over here. Okay, now that we got this trimmed up, let's go ahead and just put it back in a bowl. I'm gonna give it a quick rinse. Let me wash my hands as well while I'm at it. Okay, now that we have our oxtails trimmed up and washed, let's go ahead and get some seasoning on them. So we're gonna start out with kosher salt, black pepper, onion powder. I also have a few little allspice. I actually have 3. I'm just gonna pour that in there. Then I have some garlic powder and some paprika. Okay, next I'm going to be adding browning. You can use whatever brand you can find in your local supermarket. That is fine. So let's go ahead and add some browning. Okay, and then we're going to get our gloves on and give this a mix. It will get a little bit messy, hence the reason for the gloves. So let's go ahead and start to get the seasoning onto all of our oxtails. All right, and your seasoning that you add, the amount will really be dependent upon how much oxtails you're making. I'm only making 2 pounds. This is really a small amount. All right, that's looking good, but I want to go ahead and add a touch more browning. So let me do that. Okay, and then I'm also going to be adding, making a mess here, some ketchup. So let's go ahead and get my mixing. So here we have 1, 2 tablespoons. And let's go ahead and again, let's give this a mix. All right, now that we have the seasoning perfectly incorporated, let's go ahead and get this into our pot. And today we're going to be using a pressure pot. You can use a regular pot, it will just take a lot longer to cook, but I'm going to be using a pressure pot today. So let me just go ahead and get it in there. And then I'm going to show you approximately how much water to add. I'm going to add enough to cover these. So let's start out with some water. Actually, I'm going to put the water in our bowl that we mixed them up in. We can go ahead and remove our glove now. We're done with mixing. And let's go ahead and add some water to the bowl that we use for seasoning. And then just pour it in here. And we want more. You want enough water to cover your oxtail. Right? Because as you're using a pressure pot, as this pressurizes, the water is going to evaporate. And lastly, let's add some fresh thyme. Actually, I had fresh thyme. Let me show you. You can usually buy it in a package or so like this. It dries out after a while. So it actually dried out a bit, which is perfectly fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and just drop a couple of sprigs of some fresh thyme in there. Right, and then I have about a 1/4 cup of some white onion that I just roughly chopped up. Just get that into the mix, and this is what our oxtail is looking like. And we're gonna go ahead and get this on the fire, under pressure for about 30 minutes before we come back and check on it. Okay, everybody, and as the title says, oxtails with rice and peas, let me show you a quick and easy method for making Caribbean style rice and peas. So you're gonna start with a can of red kidney beans and just pour them in your pot. And we don't want the liquid from those beans, so I'm gonna go ahead and just take it to my sink, put some water in it, stir it up. So I'm just gonna show you, just stir it up, and then I'm just gonna rinse it off. Try not to pour all your beans back in the sink, but let's go ahead and rinse these off. Okay. So this way you just have just your beans here. All right, so now we're gonna start with a can of coconut milk. I'm using this brand, Jamaican Choice. Feel free to use whatever brand you have available to you. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour the entire can, which is 13.5, actually it used to be 15 ounces, in our beans, and then we're going to get some seasoning. So we have kosher salt, red chili flakes, 2 allspice, onion powder and garlic powder, and a drop of some black pepper. Next we're going to get a little bit of our dry thyme, which was fresh thyme at some point. That has now dried up. So here you can easily do it like this and just get the leaves off of the stem, so you don't have to have so much stem in your pot. That's another thing you can do. Or if you like me and don't mind, you can go ahead and just add the whole stem. So some of them I will take and just grab a nice one with a bunch of leaves on it like so, and just you can just plop the whole thing or just rub it off. Okay, so now that we have that, let's go ahead and just give it a quick mix. Right, and what we're going to do is put this on our stove and bring it to a boil, and then we will be right back. All right, everybody, now that our rice and peas is come to a boil with our coconut milk, what I like to do is add a drop of browning, and I mean a drop. So this is like a 1/2 teaspoon, just to give it a little bit more color. And now we're going to go ahead and add our rice. I'm going to be using parboiled rice today. Please wash your rice. I've already rinsed and washed 2 cups here of parboiled rice. I'm just going to go ahead and pour that into our beans. And since I'm using 2 cups of rice, I'm going to only add 1 cup of water because we already have some liquid from our coconut milk. Okay, so here we have it. So here's what our rice and peas is looking like. Let me add a cup of water, and then we're going to cook this on a low to medium heat. So here we have our 1 cup of water. Let me go ahead and add it. Cover it, and we're going to cook this on low to medium until we see most of our water has absorbed for about 12 minutes, and then we'll be right back. Okay, everybody, so our rice and peas is officially done. So what you want to do is cook it for about 5 minutes with the top on, then take the top off, and then just give it a quick stir, and make sure you have it on a low simmer at that point. This way your rice will come out, you see, where the grains are nicely separated, not mushy at all. Right, I also have a previous video where I made rice and peas for you. I'm going to link it right here. I just wanted to just give you a quick repeat, I guess. I'll show you how to make it again. All right, so let's get back into making these oxtails. Okay, everybody, we are at the 30-minute mark for our oxtails. They aren't nowhere near done. Still tough as nails, but I just wanted to just show you the color is looking good. Since they've been cooking for half an hour, you can also taste your pot if you want to see if you want to add any additional seasoning, but I'm going to go ahead, get the top back on, and get these back under pressure for an additional 20 to 25 minutes or so before I come back. Okay, everybody, so after another 20 minutes cooking, this is what our oxtail is looking like. It is nice and soft, so it's getting there. So what we're going to do now is I want to add about a cup of some sliced carrots. So let me just move you back over here while I grab that. So here I have like a cup and a half of some sliced carrots. I'm going to just add that to the pot, and I'm going to let these go and let these soften up, you see, for about 5 minutes or so. I'm not going to put this back under pressure. I'm just going to just turn it on and just let it go. And then we're going to come back with our final step. All right, everybody. Now that our carrots have been going for 5 minutes, I want to take a can of butter beans and just add them to the pot. You want to pour off the liquid. Do not pour the liquid in the pot. Let me just move this over here. So I'm going to just give this a quick stir. So yeah, pour the liquid off before you add the beans. Also, now is a good time to, before you add the beans, also just to siphon off any additional or extra oil that you may have floating on the top. If you find it looks a little bit greasy, just go ahead and just take your spoon, tilt your pot, and just do one of these numbers and siphon off any of the excess oil. I actually already took the liberty to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and let this go for just a couple of minutes. Remember, these are canned beans, so they are already cooked. So you just want to just leave them in there just for a couple minutes just to absorb that flavor of these oxtails. Maybe no more than about 3-4 minutes, and then we will be back. All right, everybody, after about 4 minutes on a very low simmer, look at this. This is what our oxtail is looking like. A nice consistency to our gravy. Don't need to add any thickening agents such as flour or cornstarch. Now it's time to get us a plate. Okay, everybody, so here is our plated oxtail with butter beans and some rice and peas. So let's go ahead and give this a taste. So I'm going to taste the rice first with just a little bit of that gravy. Grab one of these beans. Look at the oxtail, y'all. Super soft. Just falling off the bone. Nice and tender. Look at that. The rice is cooked perfectly. Watch out for those allspice. Just move them over. Let's get into trying this oxtail. Done perfectly. Super soft. The gravy is perfect. Don't need any additional seasoning. Feel free to add any spice that you like. If you want it spicy, go ahead and make it spicy. Cooked to perfection. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you again next time. Thanks for watching.